Welcome to The Explainer. We hear the phrase world peace a lot, right? And let's be honest, it usually sounds like this massive, abstract concept, something left to diplomats in faraway rooms signing treaties. But today, we're doing something different. We're going to dive into how that lofty global goal actually gets translated into real, tangible, everyday community action. Specifically, we're looking at the Humans for Peace Institution, or HPI. They're a registered Canadian not-for-profit and a United Nations recognized NGO. And by the end of this explainer, you're going to see exactly how peace is actively built, right at the grassroots level. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of their programs, we really need to anchor our understanding in one staggering number: 5,000. That's right, HPI isn't just a small committee in a boardroom. They are literally powered by an engine of over 5,000 dedicated volunteers. It's not just an organization, it's a movement. And it shows us that their work is fundamentally driven by the people, citizens stepping up, raising their hands, and taking real ownership of their shared community. So what exactly is driving those 5,000 people? Well, it all comes down to this core vision: a peaceful world where every person lives with dignity, respect, equality, and security. Now that establishes the real emotional stakes of their work, doesn't it? It proves a vital point. True peace isn't just the absence of war. It's so much more than that. It starts with ensuring basic human dignity and security. Because think about it, if people don't feel secure, respected, and equal in their daily lives, real peace is pretty much impossible. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the mission of HPI. 2, empowering seniors and youth. 3, celebrating diverse communities. 4, humanitarian and health impact. And finally, number 5, how you can partner. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The mission of HPI, creating meaningful change. Now, rather than focusing on just one single isolated issue, HPI's mission targets multiple vulnerabilities all at once. Because look, you can't just host a peace rally and call it a day, right? You have to address digital inclusion, mental health awareness, and even things like fraud prevention. Why does this matter? Well, a community where seniors are being defrauded or where kids don't have leadership opportunities, that's a community that lacks actual security. By hitting all these different impact areas, they're building a much stronger, way more resilient foundation for peace. It's like building a house. You need to secure all the walls, not just the front door. Moving right along to Section 2, empowering seniors and youth, generational impact. This brilliantly illustrates their dual focus, hitting both ends of the generational spectrum. On the one hand, they are fiercely protecting seniors from modern threats. We're talking about their senior digital literacy program, which is actually supported by the Government of Canada. They host workshops on financial scams, identity theft, and believe it or not, even AI-enabled fraud. Then, on the flip side, they have their Youth and Children for Peace programs. Here, they're actively teaching kids civic leadership and global citizenship. So they're protecting the hard-earned wisdom of the older generation while simultaneously training the future leaders who are going to take up the mantle of peace building. All right, Section 3, celebrating diverse communities, intercultural integration. So how do they bring all these different people together? They do it through celebration, through absolutely amazing signature events like Your Culture is Beautiful, along with huge multicultural gatherings and Canada Day activities. They focus on shared human joys: music, food, arts, heritage. It is such a smart strategy. You don't just teach intercultural understanding by reading from a textbook, you experience it. You share a meal, you listen to traditional music together. They are actively facilitating newcomer engagement and creating these beautiful spaces where diversity isn't just accepted, it's treated as an absolute superpower. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth do they manage 5,000 volunteers without everything descending into total chaos? Well, the secret sauce is a highly specialized management team. Their executive leadership, guided by President and founder Dr. Jamal Al-Sharif, alongside Vice Presidents Dr. Abdullah Al-Badrneh and Dr. Yusra Qasim, relies on dedicated managers to oversee very specific community functions, from artistic affairs managed by Mr. Muhammad Ali, women's affairs by Ms. Sumya Abul Mashal, youth led by Mr. Yahya Fahed, to multicultural affairs with Mr. Mohammed Alataune, seniors with Dr. Yunus Omari, and technology headed up by Mr. Eric Purdy. This decentralized yet super focused structure is exactly how they scale their impact so effectively. This brings us to Section 4, humanitarian and health impact, serving humanity beyond borders. Way beyond local event organizing, HPI is heavily invested in serving humanity on a much larger scale. They step right in with crucial refugee and newcomer support, making sure those fleeing conflict find safety and, importantly, dignity. But it doesn't stop there. They push forward into medical support initiatives, they run critical mental health awareness campaigns, and they host public health information sessions. Because, let's face it, true peace requires both physical and mental well-being. By addressing these fundamental health needs, they're ensuring that vulnerable populations have the literal strength and resilience required to rebuild their lives from the ground up.
And finally, Section 5, how you can partner, working together for greater impact.
An incredibly ambitious mission like this, yeah, it's only possible with a robust coalition backing it. They've built trust with major government bodies like Employment and Social Development Canada and Heritage Canada. They partner with essential health organizations like CHEO and localized cultural groups like the Ottawa Chinese Community Service Center and the Darkan Foundation, just to name a few. What this proves is that building peace literally requires a village, a whole network of institutions working in total harmony, sharing financial contributions, in-kind donations, and venue support. So we've seen what 5,000 volunteers and a massive coalition of partners can do. We've seen the blueprint. Now we have to bridge the gap between their established legacy and the future work that, frankly, still needs to be done. It brings us to a really vital question. How can we build a more peaceful world together? The true beauty of the HPI model is that there's genuinely a place for everyone. Whether you represent a corporation capable of financial contributions, maybe a foundation looking to support digital literacy, a venue wanting to collaborate on a multicultural event, or maybe you're just an individual wanting to offer your time as a volunteer. They actively seek your partnership. You really don't have to be a massive government agency to make a dent here. Individual supporters are the very lifeblood of that 5,000-strong volunteer network. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to remember their core motto: building peace through action. If the Humans for Peace Institution has taught us anything today, it's that a better world isn't built through wishful thinking. No way. It is built one community connection, one digital literacy class, and one cultural celebration at a time. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. If an organization can mobilize 5,000 people to tangibly improve the security and dignity of their neighbors, what ripple effect will your first action create today? Thanks for joining me, and keep learning.